Hello, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? Well, all I can say is I don't think I'm human because what I just did the last 2 days, definitely I can't be human. Unbelievable. So Saturday I go, what was it, 6-0 or 7-0? I hit them all. So I'm a little bit worried on Sunday going, well, you can't do that again. And sure as shit, I did it on Sunday. Let's see, I was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-0 on Saturday, with 3 locks winning. Yesterday 9-0, and I got 1 lock, and it's actually going tonight. It didn't go yesterday, although watching that LA Buffalo game, you got to hit that arrow. Okay. All right. So let's go through it. I went through the college games. So let's go through the pros. So not counting Thursday where I hit the Lion game over. It was over 45. They got a 65. In that game, I'm taking advantage of the strong Lion offense and the weak Lion defense. All the injuries, it's not the same team, right? I take Miami even against the JETSs because the JETSs are in the shambles, and bet against the Jets are 11-1, 12-1 now. No, I don't know. I'm at the pool. I see the score. I go, okay, I won. And now I realize it was overtime, I guess, because I wondered why they won by 6. Anyway, Miami, good home team. The Jets, I don't know. Third winner, Minnesota even. Big surprise, 26-3 in the teaser. Atlanta sucks. When will they go to Penix? A 25 defense. Mini wins 42-21. Not surprised at all. Was surprised I didn't lock it. But, I did bet it, so I'm happy with that. I bet it twice. Third, next pick, Philly and Carolina. I don't like the 14. As I told you, it's hard to lay more than 7, and I was right on that account, 22-16. But I played the under 45, so I went under 51, and it was a 38. And that's basically Philly's going to run it down their throat. Carolina has no offense with Steve Young. And that's about what I got. Philly got 22. They win the game 22-16. Steve Young still sucks. I knew he wouldn't do much against that defense. It's a killer defense. I was a little worried Philly would run it up a little. To hear that Philly looked bad and almost lost, I had to laugh at that one. How serious can they get against Carolina when they get Pittsburgh coming up next week? I mean, these announcers on radio are so stupid. Next game, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. I was this close to locking it. Played it in 2 teasers. Pitt even. I knew it was a revenge game from that Thursday night. And Winston doesn't know which team. Maybe he's colorblind. He can't tell the black from the brown. Pitt wins 27-14. I also like the over in the game, which was 37.5 in a teaser, which easily covered. But I was more confident in Pitt even winning. You got to take into account Russell Wilson and this great defense. They are not going to lose very many games. They're the one team that can beat KC with this defense. And they're 11-1 in the teaser. Look at the method to my madness. Oakland, Tampa, I don't play. I circled Tampa. Oakland, O'Connell, I guess, got hurt. He's out. So you're dealing with backup quarterbacks who aren't even good college quarterbacks. Against the Baker, they win 28-13. That's one I didn't even bet. I could have. Tampa was 10-2. Arizona, Seattle, I go under in the game after the 16-6 game. I'm assuming I'm going to get the same thing. I get 30 to 18, but it wins because 45 and 6 is 51. And it ended 30-18, thanks to Kyler Murray throwing some interceptions for us. So 48, so it wins. Not the game we expected, but we'll take the winner. Buffalo and the Rams should have been a lock with Pittsburgh. I was so tired because I fasted this weekend that I played the game, but I don't know what I was thinking about locking. It was 49 and a half. You go to 43 and a half, 24-20. They had that in the first quarter. So I do have the game over. G asked me, should I take Buffalo? And I said, no, I don't think they'll win. I told you guys, I didn't think they'd win. They really didn't need the game. Traveling to the West Coast from Buffalo, a lot of travel. They'll be tired, and they look like it. And it was 44-42, the Rams, which is good. And they get the Lions this week, Buffalo, off of a loss. So they were probably looking ahead too. Although the Rams look good with Puka and Cooper Kupp together. And the running back, look out. No defense. They're a great over team. And it looks like Buffalo is too. I didn't see a defense on Buffalo either. The Niners and the Bears, new coaches, new offensive coordinators, and they got Caleb. I figured the Niners would win. I went under 51, and I tied and win 38-13 to 51. So I'm fine with that. I got what I wanted. I'm surprised the Bears scored 13. I'm kind of surprised the Niners scored 38 with this defense, but you got a coach who doesn't know what he's doing. He wasn't even the offensive coordinator. So you make him an offensive coordinator for a week, then he's the head coach. He doesn't even know which sideline to stand on. This guy is way, way over his head. I thought Eberflus was. So I get the under there. San Diego, KC. This is the one I'm loving on both sides. I love San Diego in 10, and I love under 49. And I was going to play both in the teaser, but I played the under 49 after watching them 17-10 last time in the Denver game. I go, there's not going to be points. San Diego, too deep zone. They're not going to give it, and they're going to run it. I did think San Diego would win 2017. They lost 19-17, so close enough, 36. 9-0. And we got our one lock today, Cincinnati at Dallas. And let's go for 10-0. Anyway, Luke, happy holidays to you. I like the Steelers too. I don't think they can lose because when you got a great defense and you add a good quarterback like Russell Wilson, now you got offense, you got defense, you got a running attack and a passing attack. This is the way to go. These teams that have given up on the run are just idiots. These are teams that have no idea how their coach, how the GM. Look at the Lions. They're making Goff look good because he's got balance. He can play action pass. They got to respect the run. The Lions actually have good running backs for the first time ever. Well, except for Berry. So, beautiful week in pro and college. 3-0 in the locks, hopefully 4-0. I've never hit every game before. So that's 6-0 and 9-0. One guy wanted a reduction because there wasn't that many college games, so he didn't take it. And I go 15-0. So all I can say is if you can't afford $50 or $25, then you're probably not betting anyway. Knowing this guy is probably selling my picks as his. Gold, 26.60. Silver's up to 31.91. Again, this is monopoly money. Well, we're just showing to get the action. I'm going to go buy gold. I got paid Thursday. I got my Social Security today, and I'll get paid Thursday. A full paycheck. And then off we go Friday to the coin store, and hopefully he's got some quarter ounces and ounces for me. Now I take the big guns out. I buy at least 1 ounce and a quarter is my goal, or 2/10. Trying to get to 100 ounces, so I need to start buying. Luke, Warren is a bad as behind Harris. I don't know what that means. Warren is a bad. You're starting to sound like Bobby. I don't know what you're saying. Warren is bad behind Harris, or Warren is really good behind Harris? I don't know. What's up with college football playoffs? This is a first. Well, they've always had the 2-game, and then they went to 4-game, but this is a 12 team. Whoever thought of this has their head way up his ass. It should be 16, and all the conferences should get 2 teams. I mean, you can't look at the Mountain West and say they don't schedule anyone. It's like last year when Michigan won, they didn't play anybody. They did not play anybody at all the whole year. They got Ohio State, who sucked last year, bad quarterback. And so they won without playing anybody, and people are going to bitch about schedules. Even in the conference, the SEC, there's Tennessee, who was good, Ole Miss, Georgia, Florida got better, Alabama. Missouri's really good. Vandy was really good. So, you're not going to go through with 1 or 2 losses, but you shouldn't have to. So Georgia should get an automatic bid, as should Texas. And then it's one of the things, but that's why you need 16 teams. And to only get one Big 12 team in is a joke. And Arizona State, they're not the best team in the conference. I mean, yeah, they beat Arizona. They beat Arizona, and then they beat Iowa State. But Iowa State was not one of the Kansas and Baylor and BYU. Where's BYU? They're not even in the playoff. They're a real good team this year. They beat SMU. I'm not surprised SMU beat Alabama. I'm surprised Alabama was even mentioned. They sucked it. You lose to Oklahoma 29-6, 29-3. Yeah, you're probably not playoff material. And that's just looking at it. You couldn't score on Oklahoma. Jesus. So we'll talk gold. Then we'll get into football. So 29, 26-60, 31-91. All right. Gold is the only way out for everybody. What's the problem? Now, I was asked this at work. Friend who sits behind me, I'm telling him to get into gold. I'm teaching him economics. It's blown his mind, and I go to him, did you buy it yet? He says, not yet. I says, all you're doing is trading dollars for gold. You're not spending a nickel. You're getting rid of worthless dollars that are not backed by anything for gold, which is gold. So he says, how come nobody understands this? Which was a fair question. I says, because nobody's taught this. People aren't stupid. They learn. But if they're not taught it, they don't know it. You can be a lawyer or a doctor. If you're not taught Austrian economics, you don't know it. And you got your money in your 401k, and you're making money, and you're getting paid a lot of money to do your job. The last thought you have, which you don't even understand, is that the dollar can go to zero. That's the part people don't get. So I kind of explained it to him. When you're on the Titanic, you can see the water coming in. You can see the boat going down. So you can get off. Logic says get off the boat. It's sinking. But you can't see the water going down. We can't see the boat going down here except for prices. And even prices can't really go down too much because of competition. So if Coke were to raise their price to $10 a 2 liter and Pepsi said, we're going to stay at $2.95, nobody's going to buy a Coke. Everybody's going to buy Pepsi. Coke goes out of business. So Coke can't make the move. So I'm so sick of hearing everybody tell inflation is by prices. That's the Keynesians' view, but that's not real, because in a free market, the reason they don't raise prices is the competition. Now, why did Germany and Venezuela and Greece and all go out? I assume they probably didn't have a lot of competition, or there was price controls or something that prevented the competition. So in other words, if you make Fritos $10 a bag, but Doritos are $2.50 a bag, well, okay, goodbye, Fritos. We won't buy you. But if all of them go to $10, now you got trouble. But then they all go out of business because they can't sell any. This is the whole point of a free market economy. The company needs to sell their products and they got to know where the market's at. And this is what I always talk about, is what the market is. The market can't afford $35,000 Camrys. So you got to lower your price. And he lowered it to 27. And now he's got the top end of the market. And only people who are stupid and didn't buy a car when the interest rates are zero. That's why I bought mine in 2018. I could smell that's coming. And so I got the car figuring I need it. My other one, I had an 03 Camry. It was 2018. So I drove it for 15 years. Great car. Love the car. So because of competition and substitution, it's hard to raise prices. You can raise them a little, but you can't raise them a lot if you have competition. So I can't make my football picks $1,000 a week. Nobody will buy them. $100 because I'm so good, I get buyers, but not 1,000, right? So I got to know my limit. And then you got to produce. You better have quality. I remember one guy asking me how I do it he wants to do what I do. And I said, well, you got to be accurate. Nobody's going to listen to you if you give a bunch of losers. So your first thing is you better give a bunch of winners or make sense out of how you pick and what you do, which is what I do. So I never heard from the guy again, but I told him, you can't just do it. It's not that easy. So I'm sick of these guys talking about price inflation, wage inflation. There's no such thing. Inflation's inflating the money supply. That is the only inflation there is. Prices going up is prices going up. It's not inflation. So I hear this. This is from guy who's supposed to be smart, but he's not. I can't remember his name. Doom, Bloom, and Goom. I don't know what his name is, but he predicted this and he predicted that. Okay, great. Really? I predict gold will go up, but nobody gives a fuck. But I don't do it to say I can say I predicted it. I do it to save everybody's ass. So he starts talking price inflation and wage inflation. And I'm thinking, just because prices or wages go up is not inflation. How is it? Explain to me how there's wage inflation. So wage inflation, so somebody gets a new job and they make more money, or they get a raise and they make more money. How is that inflation? What's being printed here? Nothing. The guy's getting a raise. Why is that inflation? It isn't. It's just the guy's making more money. You're not printing the money. It's my paycheck. The company makes more money. Now the company's costs go up because the dollar's worth less and it costs them more money to buy steel and stuff. But there's no such thing as wage inflation. There's no such thing as price inflation. Prices go up because the market allows it. And if the market, why do you see sales at the grocery store? I just bought 2 New York strips like Thanksgiving week for $10.99 a pound. They usually are 16, 17. Is that inflation going down? No, they can't sell it because it's over market. So they lower the price just to move their inventory. It's a very simple. You're trying to figure out the market, and if you price it too high, so you're adjusting your prices. Well, I'll put it at $10. Oh, we sold out. Oh, I can sell it for $12. Oh, we sold out. I'll go up to 16. We couldn't sell out. Well, we know at $10 we can sell them all, so we lower it to 10 because we got to move our inventory, because if we don't, we can't make money, because that's how a grocery store works. He buys it from the butcher and he's got to sell it, and if it just sits on his counter, he loses money because he's paid for the meat. How is that inflation? he's selling it to a market amidst all this competition. I can go to Meijer's and buy hamburger there. I don't need to buy New York strips at Bush's. I can go to Costco. I can go to Sam's Club. I don't have to go to your store. But if I do go to your store and you're too expensive, I go down the road. Well, I don't need to buy from you. And they've been holding their hamburgers, relatively $5-6 a pound. So the idea of wage and price inflation shows me this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Let me get his name. And please don't listen to this moron. All right. Mark Faber. Right, we'll get into this video in a little bit. Endless bubbles. No, he does not like Bitcoin because, like me, he doesn't know what it is. And again, he's like me. He wants physical. Let's play a couple of Egon clips.
You wish that Elon Musk would come in now as an efficiency minister in the government in the US. I can't quite see that, but that's what they're talking about. You can imagine he comes in and cuts expenses by the same amount he did at Twitter. 80% he cut the Twitter expenses when he took over. Can you imagine if US defense benefits, etc., down by 80%? US would be a strong country, except for there would be a revolution and Trump would be shot or killed and Musk also. So it won't happen, of course. People are so used to this living on debt now, living above their means. Preserving wealth in the form of, let's say, land or forestry or even stocks and bonds, which we don't call wealth preservation, but nevertheless, some people do. The problem is some of these assets, like property, is totally illiquid. And especially if the market comes under pressure, the market will come down and people will not be able to sell it and the market will continue down and there won't be any buyers. Gold is instant liquidity. Anyone who stores gold, for example, in this vault can at any time sell the gold instantaneously and receive payment for it. That's absolutely critical when you're looking at preserving wealth. You have to have liquidity. And of course, what we believe is that gold eventually will be extremely valuable, go up against other assets which were going to come down. Then that liquidity will buy you things a lot cheaper than you can buy today with your gold, whether that's stocks or property or bonds.
Hi, it's Chuck Gatica. I am so excited today because Powerhouse Generators are here to install.
Did you get that, Luke? It's instantaneously sold. You keep saying how hard it is to sell it. And Egon's looking at you like you're nuts. It's instantaneous. Everybody wants it. It'll have its value.
A huge number of friends.
Oh, shut up. So that's Egon. Oh, here's a good one. You'll like this one.
For the first time, we actually have $1 million gold bar this year. This gold bar, 400 ounce, 12 kilos, could have been bought for $14,000 in 71, and now it's $1 million. But what it really tells us is that you bought a 400 ounce bar for $14,000 in 1971, and now in 2024, you get 6 ounces of gold for the same amount, and that shows you the destruction of paper money. No government ever tells you that the money in your pocket is going down every day. Everybody just talks about inflation, but inflation is nothing else but a falling currency.
So Bitcoin doesn't interest you because of its electronic nature. It can be shut off in a crisis with no
let's hear this. This is Mark Faber.
electricity.
In my opinion, it's like paper money. It's built on belief. I'm a non-believer. I believe precious metals have a proven track record of having some value. You and I, we travel to the jungle and we come to a tribe in the jungle And they look at this, they laugh about it, and they say, yeah, who on earth is so stupid to buy something like this? But you and I travel with 3 gold coins into the jungle. They buy it and say, oh, very good.
Yeah, we'll give you some food. You can stay with us for a few nights.
You can stay with our women.
So I'll get into that video a little bit more, but see, people are all getting Ponzi schemed. You're getting made off because the promise is you'll make money. You don't know why, which is the first red flag. And what are you going to do with it? So this is the real problem with Bitcoin. Gold is one thing because we have it in our hands. We can't get Madoff. Remember, the thing about Madoff is you didn't know how he was making it. Now, you would get money every month, which is really incredible, but you didn't know how he was doing it. And basically, he was taking other people's money to give you your money instead of investing it and making money on Coca-Cola and Disney and then giving you profits. He's basically taking Peter to pay Paul. And what you're doing in Madoff is, or in Bitcoin, same thing. That guy, who's that idiot? Saylor. This company bought like $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, I guess today or yesterday or whatever. And why? Because he wants the price to go up. I'm surprised he's not selling them, but he bought them, and his company paid company money, which is unbelievable. What an idiot he is. It's not money because nobody will spend it. So what are you going to do with it? You got something that goes up if people get into it, and then you sell it, and then what do you do with it? If you sell the Bitcoin, you don't have it anymore. So I would assume you just have this wallet with some money in it and no Bitcoin, which everybody would be like, oh my God, no. So then they use the so they don't want to sell the Bitcoin. So that can't make it money because you can't use it because nobody will sell it and nobody will use it to buy goods and services. So the fact that people think it's money, they're out of their minds. It's a collectible like cards, except it's not real. So I know it's gone up in value. And all I can say is sell it and run the other way and run into gold. Gold can't be printed. It's almost gone. As I showed you that one, I think it was Egon, where 99% of the 201,000 tons of gold is gone. It's either Russia, China, central banks, another 93,000 tons in jewelry because India buys every year for the weddings. And that's what you have. So you basically, there's no more gold left. So if you can find it, say, I'm going to go to my gold store. I get paid Thursday. I'll go probably Friday or Saturday, probably Friday because I'll be too excited. And I'll go and buy some more gold with it. And I'm hoping he's got, which these people are stupid. So they'll sell it to get the money thinking, well, it's high, it's going down now. And that's why people are into Bitcoin. I think the people in Bitcoin realize the dollar is going out, but instead of choosing gold, which is what they should be, they're choosing Bitcoin. And again, Bitcoin is not real, but okay, it's at 100 grand. Is it going to 200 grand? Yeah, sure it will. It never will, but it's still priced in dollars, which means when the dollar crashes, it'll be worthless. So when's the dollar crashing? Soon. Mostly, how does things lose value? When there's no demand for it. So what kind of demand is there for this? It's lost 99% of its value. It went out in Germany. It went out in Rome. It went out in Venezuela. It went out in Zimbabwe. It went out in Russia. It went out in Greece and Turkey. Name, pick a country. It'll go out in every country. France is going bankrupt. The UK is going bankrupt. Germany's going bankrupt. So don't tell me it can't go bankrupt. If nobody wants it, then it has no value. That's how it goes out. So you're asking when? Well, when nobody wants it, and it's getting very soon. And when BRICS comes out with gold, then everybody will flock to that. That's the lifeboat. There's no really gold to buy. I mean, there's some you could buy at the store, but I mean, for me, I don't care. I'm buying 2 ounces here and an ounce there and a quarter ounce there. So I can find that. But if you wanted to buy a bar, a 400-ounce bar for $1 million, like he's talking, good luck. But you got to remember, in 1971, 14,000 was huge. Nobody had 14,000 to buy the gold bar. Nobody in their right mind would buy the gold bar at that time. Now, knowing what they know now, yeah, they would. I like how he keeps stealing my ideas. Well, 1971, yeah, Pepsi was a dime, and now it's $3. I got to teach these guys everything. But that's what happens. So it's when nobody wants the dollar is when the dollar collapses. That's what happened in Rome. How could the Roman Empire go out, right? I mean, you really got to think about that, right? That's as bad as the Steel Curtain not winning the Super Bowl in 1980. How could it go out? Well, in football, there's injuries and age. Probably the same thing with the Roman Empire. You took all the money out, you took the gold coins, and basically that's what happens. And then nobody wants people want the gold and the silver. That's what people want. And if you take it out, they go, well, there's no gold and silver in this. I don't want this. Where's the gold and silver? And then you find it. I mean, that's the point. The biggest money there is what's demanded by everybody. The strongest demand is what makes the money. They wanted tulips in Amsterdam until there was a frost and the tulips died and they couldn't use it. And then they go, oh shit, we need money. It just went to where we needed $1 because it was transportable. You could keep it in your wallet and you couldn't run out. You could print it. Well, at the time you were backed by gold. But as soon as you can never like run out of the dollar, but now they've taken gold backing away, and that's really what's destroyed it. It's lasted because we had this petro agreement where we said you have to have dollars for oil. So they created their own demand for the dollar by having it linked to the petrodollar. It ain't linked to the petrodollar anymore. Now we don't need dollars to buy oil. So say goodbye. I don't care what Boog Powell says or Hank Yellen or whatever these idiots say. When we do the most, we got you had the most when the people were forced to, which how many wars are led to that. But now you're not forced to trade your thing into dollars, and you probably paid a premium to do it, and then buying the oil. So now, China's buying oil from Venezuela, I think. Russia has their own oil. I don't know what India does, but I mean, all these countries that doesn't have oil are buying it from Saudi Arabia or I don't know about Venezuela, but the Middle East. And the U.S. can sit there with their gun and say, we're going to kill you if you do that. Well, yeah, but not anymore. We don't even have an army. We've sold all our products to the Ukraine. And it's not like something you can just make like a hamburger. You want to make a missile, it probably takes 6 to 9 months. You want to make a cannon, you want to make a plane, how many years does that take? So if you're giving all this to the Ukraine, you don't have any. So you can't do it. Trump to go Bitcoin makes it sounds like a good fantasy, but it's not real. It's almost like he's trying to bankrupt everybody because the moves he's making are extremely stupid. But don't buy it. Stay stoic. Gold is the key. Gold is freedom. I don't know what else to say. And I know you guys listen, but I'm just saying. So when you hear these stupid reports, price inflation, wage inflation, Farber, you think he's smart till he says stupid things like that. And you go, this is why the only guy I trust is Egon and a little bit Mark McGuire. Egon says they're printing money. It'll go to zero. He gets it. He's the only one, him and me. these other people are saying Andy Scheckman has no idea. And he talks, but he never says anything. He just talks. He just rumbles on. Try to listen to Andy Scheckman and find out what he says, because I can't. I don't know what he says. It's just constant talking about nothing. So anyway, inflation is only printing money, period. It has got nothing to do with wages. It's got nothing to do with prices. It's got nothing, and prices going down is not deflation. It's the market saying we don't want this. So if all of a sudden Coca-Cola, nobody wants it because they know it causes cancer because of the sugars, and people say, I'm not going to buy it, price goes down. It's not deflation. It's the price going down because nobody wants it. Demand controls the market. It's what we want. That's it. And it can't be Keynesian, and it can't be communist. It can't be controlled by the government, or, it's only controlled by the market. Don't ever forget that. Anyway, so let's get on to football. We can get back to Farber. And I need this to go through. All right, let's go through college. I mean, tonight, Cincinnati 5.5 and 49.5, maybe 50. All I can say is, since he's an over team with the 28 defense, Dallas is an E team with Cooper Rush. He's scoring more points, and they have a 28 defense with Micah Parsons to go for. So both these teams need new coaches, need new defenses, but we'll see. All right. This weekend's Army Navy. I got Army -6 and 40. I haven't even started to write it down. Army is, I believe, an A team. They just beat Tulane pretty good, 35-14. They're an A team with the 15 defense, and Tulane got 14 on them. The Navy is a B team with the 23 defense. They beat East Carolina the last week, 34-20. And here comes the Army against the Navy. Now, normally this is a lock under for us because they know each other's offense, but this isn't. You can't go that way this time because they're not running triple option, and both teams know it and practice against it. They're throwing the ball and running, and they're scoring 30, 35 points in a lot of games. So we are not going under like we've done the last 50 years in this game. So just keep that in mind. We will play it, but we're not going to play the under, which is the automatic. All right. December 14th. I guess this is the start of the bowl game. We got Southern Alabama 8.5, 58.5 to Western Michigan. I haven't even written it down yet. I'm going to do that tonight. Maybe I'll do it at work tomorrow. It's getting quiet at work with Christmas coming up. My boss just works from home now. I haven't seen him in 2.5 weeks. We got some meeting on some OneStream, which is the stupidest program I've ever seen. The next game is the 17th, which is next Tuesday. So for some reason, they got this game in here on, I would say, the 7th is Saturday. So Saturday's South Alabama Western. Who gives a fuck? And then starting on on Tuesday, oh boy, Memphis and West Virginia. Memphis 2.5, 56.5. Memphis, just looking at it, I'm not analyzing it, is the better team here. And then on the next day, on Wednesday, they got to put one game a day on? Western Kentucky against James Madison, which is a pretty good game, pretty even. James Madison is 7 and 53.5 to Western Kentucky. Pretty close game, I think. Then we got another game on Wednesday. We got Cal and Vegas. Vegas, very disappointing against Boise. They didn't show up. Cal, 3.5, 51.5 to Vegas. Cal's much better than Vegas. How interested they are in playing this bowl game, I don't know, but we will see. That's what you got. Now, these games, I believe the players play in, right? The guy at Vegas wants to show he's good. So he's going to play. It's when you get closer up, like Michigan and Alabama, I guarantee you, nobody will be playing in that game. That'll be the fourth strings because they got to get ready for the pros because they're all going to go pro. Georgia Southern, 6 and 46.5 to Sam Houston. This is a very good game. Georgia Southern, good team. Sam Houston, a good under team. We'll see. And then December 20th. This is a Friday. Ohio against Jacksonville State. This is a really very strong defense, Ohio, against a very over Jacksonville State. So you're fucked. You can't go over with Jacksonville State. And you can't go under with Ohio. Ohio's 2.5, 53. Then we've got on still on Friday. This is a 3:30 game. You got Florida 12.5, 51 to Tulane. Army just killed Tulane. Why isn't Army in the playoffs? They've only lost one game to Notre Dame. Alabama lost 3. Why were they thinking about it? See, this is where I have a problem. Why didn't the winner of the Army Tulane game go in the playoff? They should have. They won their division. They beat a good Tulane team. Better than any team Penn State beat. 12.5, 51. Florida's been playing really good. Tulane could be scrappy here. We'll see. They're a good team, but Army just beat the shit out of them with Daly. Is this really Friday or Saturday? The 20th. Today's the 9th, so the 7th is Saturday. That's the 21st. This is Friday night. You're going to have Notre Dame and Indiana, a bowl game on Friday night. This makes no sense. 8 p.m. I guess it's at Notre Dame. This is in the first round at the school. Really unfair for Indiana to have to go to Notre Dame. I think Indiana should be ranked higher than Boise. You've got to be kidding me. A punt return and a fumbled snap, we're at 17-15. Indiana is not this bad of a team. They're a very good team. Notre Dame, 7.5, 50.5. I think Indiana can beat them. I'm very strong at Notre Dame. It's Indiana, so it's an Indiana thing. Indiana's a really good team with a lot to prove. And playing at Ohio State and losing, I think they didn't like that. And I think they're a better team than that. I'm so sick of who did they beat? They beat Michigan, right? Who beat Ohio State. So, well, let's not count it because it's Michigan, but they beat Michigan. Well, it doesn't count because we're looking for a good win. Well, they beat Michigan, who beat Ohio State. Why is that not a good win? Oh, or they beat Washington and they beat Nebraska by 50 points. That doesn't count. They didn't beat whom? Who would you like to have played? Alabama, Georgia, LSU? Who would you like them to play in the Big Ten? The schedule didn't have them play Penn State. They played Ohio State. They'll get to Oregon in the championship game, but you got to be kidding here. So Indiana's going to play. Okay, yeah, I know Notre Dame's got a good defense, no question. Who did Notre Dame beat? Let's see if Notre Dame beat one good team. And I'm not calling USC a good team. So Indiana, they kill USC there. Maryland, they kill Nebraska. They beat Washington. They kill Michigan State. They beat Michigan. They lose to Ohio State. Okay, what did Notre Dame do? They lost to Northern Illinois. They beat Purdue, who sucks. They beat Miami of Ohio. They beat Louisville, Stanford. Give them credit for beating my Georgia Tech, Navy, Florida State, Virginia, Army, USC. Who did they beat? Their best team they beat there is Army. So you want to play these games. Well, Georgia Tech's decent. Who did Notre Dame beat? I'm sorry. If you want to play, pick the schedule and give me a good win. Show me the best win. Georgia Tech's not a top. They're a top 20 team, but they don't get rated. And I'm not sure if Kings played in that game. And then they beat Army. Beating USC is not a big. They're not good. Virginia and Florida State. Ooh, that's a good team. The Navy, Stanford, Miami of Ohio, Purdue. They played how many Z teams? Purdue, Stanford, Florida State. They beat 3 Z teams. Yeah, so, this is where people get fucked. Ooh, they beat USC 49-35, which is not a good win, giving up 35 to USC. And they had 2 pick sixes to do it. So here you got that, but you've got, the Army game. I'll give them credit. And Georgia Tech, I guess, are the 2. And they lost to Texas A&M. No, they beat Texas A&M. Doesn't show on here. It only goes the last 10 for some reason instead of the whole season. Did they beat I think they beat A&M, who's not very, it was okay. So who did they beat? Give me a hand here. Oh yeah, but they lost to Northern Illinois. I don't know. I don't. And I believe this game's in Notre Dame. Let's check. I believe it's at Touchdown Jesus. Yeah, Notre Dame Stadium. We'll check the weather later. This game is on the 20th, so a week from this weekend on a Friday night. Kind of idiot makes this game on a Friday night. All right, Saturday, Penn State 8.5, 53.5 to SMU. That spread's way too high. Let's take a look at Penn State. Who have they beaten? Well, they got the shit beat out of them by Oregon. They beat Minnesota by 1. Oh, Purdue, the Z team, beat Washington, lost to Ohio State, beat Wisconsin, beat USC, beat UCLA, beat Illinois. So who have they beaten? Best team? I would say either USC or Washington. Minnesota, they beat 26-25. I don't understand these home games. I think that's ridiculous. Especially you're playing it on a Saturday. Where is this? It's a noon game on Saturday. You're showing Penn State, SMU. SMU, very potent offense. Had a couple of turnovers early against Clemson, who should not even be in the playoffs. SMU, their only loss was to BYU. And now this goal there. Texas and Clemson. Texas 11-51 to Clemson. They're going to kill Clemson. Clemson does not belong in this. They got a pretty good offense. Texas will eat them alive because Clemson's defense is not very good. So a better defense for Texas. Clemson can throw, but they're going to be under pressure like Georgia was. So I don't know. Ohio State, Tennessee. I don't get this game at all. Why is Ohio State at home? This game should be Tennessee. If anything, they beat Alabama. Ohio State beat nobody. They not only lost to Michigan and Oregon, the only team they beat that's any good is Penn State, who's not very good. And that's it. Well, they beat Nebraska by 3. Indiana beat them by 50. Let's not give Indiana any credit for that. So, again, I'm waiting for Ohio State here. 7.5, 47.5 over Tennessee. I'm waiting for Ohio State's offense to show up, which it hasn't really. 10 points on Michigan. UTSA, Coastal Carolina. What is this game doing in the middle of that? This is on the 23rd. This is on Monday morning. UTSA 6.5, 57.5 to Coastal Carolina. This should be a 100-point game. UTSA just scores. Coastal Carolina is pretty good at it. Let's see. So Ohio State, Tennessee's on at 8. Clemson, Texas is 4. And then the noon's Penn State, SMU. What a bullshit playoff. What is Penn State doing on it? What is Clemson doing on it? See, Clemson, their ACC was so weak, they got lucky to beat SMU. They were by far the best team. What is Clemson is not one of the top, 8 teams, 12 teams? That's ridiculous. Tennessee, they played pretty well. I hate their quarterback. Ohio State lost to Michigan. I mean, unbelievable. But I'm happy because we bet it under and it won. That's why we bet totals. Because when the upset happens, we're not getting upset. We get upset when the score isn't what we thought it was. Like it wasn't what we thought it was in Buffalo, LA. We bet it over, but I never thought 86. That's crazy. So UTSA Coastal should be a lot of points, 57.5. I like UTSA. Fresno State, Northern Illinois. Mikey Keene's been struggling. Northern Illinois is okay. I don't know. Fresno State's been disappointing. San Jose State, South Florida, who the hell knows? San Jose State, 2.5, 62.5. Pitt and Toledo. This is about what Pitt. What is Pitt doing in here? 9.5, 51.5 to Toledo. I don't get this game at all. Why is this a game? Decent game. Kansas State and Rutgers. Kansas State, 751.5. So now, why isn't this game at the stadium? Why is this a neutral site bowl game? There's money in it. Oh, really? Nobody's going to these things anymore. Oh, TV's paying. Well, how long is TV, these commercials, going to pay? Nobody's going to buy the products because nobody's got money to buy them. It's crazy. So Kansas State, 751.5. You got to think Kansas State will win that one. Bowling Green, 6.5, 49.5 to Arkansas State. Don't ask me. Don't even look at me. I have no idea. I'll have to research. Oklahoma, how are they in a playoff? Did they win 5 games? Oh, who did Oklahoma beat besides Alabama? Oklahoma, the last 10. They beat Tulane, lost to Tennessee 25-15, beat Auburn, lost to Texas 34-3, lost to South Carolina 35-9, lost to Ole Miss 26-14, lost to Missouri 30-23, lost to LSU 37-13. What are they, 5-6, and they're in a bowl game? I mean, they've won 4 games. What are they doing in a bowl game? You beat Alabama. You beat the Maine Black Bears, the Division II team, and you beat a weak Auburn team, and somehow you beat Tulane. I mean, I don't get it. You beat 4 games, maybe 5 the first week against some high school team. I think they beat a high school team the first week. So let's give them credit for that in the main game. Somehow you beat Alabama. You lost to Texas, South Carolina, and Ole Miss, Tennessee. Jesus, you suck. And who are the Navy? We know. The Navy beat Memphis. They beat Air Force. They beat they lost to Notre Dame. Beat South Florida and beat East Carolina. Pretty good teams. Probably could beat Oklahoma. Jesus Christ, where did it go? Okay, Oklahoma Navy. So this is the 27th at noon. Go Navy. I mean, beat Army here. Oklahoma can't be 8.5 points favorite over anybody. Oh, my two teams playing each other. I'm so depressed. Georgia Tech, 2.5, 52.5 over Vandy. What do I do here? Woe is me. My favorite teams. I'll probably have to go total. Vandy's probably alive, but I don't want to bet against Georgia Tech. This will be a tough one for me. Arkansas, 3 and 59.5 to Texas Tech. Arkansas is favored. Oh, just go Texas Tech all the way there. Syracuse, 6.5, 61 to Washington State. I have no idea. Probably a lot of points. Syracuse scores. Washington State did beat Washington, so we'll see. USC, Texas A&M. A&M is 2.5 and 50.5 to Southern Cal. I think Southern Cal would be a live dog, provided that Maivia plays the quarterback. Here's where are they going to play? See, these are the games that fuck us because we do it and then but these 10 players aren't going to play, and that's the problem. That's like Florida State. They lost the coach. They lost the coach this year. From what none of them played in the bowl game. They lost to Georgia 62-0, and at that point, the coach lost the team. No respect, letting these guys sit out, no control over them. They should have played for the pride because they're football players and play for the university and show, yes, we're undefeated, but we could have been in the playoff. Instead, they all sat out. Just a black guy. That coach sucks. So here, A&M. If USC plays, they cover. If they don't, who knows? North Carolina, 4.5, 54.5. I don't know who the coach is. I doubt it's the big burly guy. So Connecticut's not bad. North Carolina. Big Nebraska, 3.5, 45.5 to BC. I don't know. Nebraska brings the defense. BC, pretty good offense. TCU, Lou Lafayette. TCU, 9.5, 60. I don't know. TCU is going to run them out of the stadium. Miami and Iowa State, two playoff teams that got fucked. So we could have 18 SEC teams in this playoff. Miami, 3.5, 55.5. How are they going to play? Iowa State also a very good team. Okay, they ran into Arizona State. Why is Arizona State 3 and fucking Boise or one's 3 and one's 4? What is that? They are not 3 and 4 in the country. Boise, number 3 or 4 in the country? Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. This is the problem with it. Unbelievable. All right. Miami, 3.5, 55.5. See, here's where we got to be stoic, and we do what we know. We know Boise doesn't belong anywhere in the top 10. After watching them, they got Gentry. They barely beat half the teams in the Mountain West. They didn't play anybody except for Vegas, and you got them ranked 4. So when they come up against these teams and they're favored, we're going to lock them. We're going to lock the dog, especially if it's a good dog. So Miami, 3.5, Iowa State. Miami, will they be pissed? Will they be playing? Is Cam Ward? I guarantee you Cam Ward sits out because he got to get ready. He might get injured. So that's going to affect the game. So this, I would bet it right now, but I don't know who's playing. I can't take that chance. Colorado State, Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio, pretty good team. Colorado State, pretty good team. Miami of Ohio is favored. You're not going to have these players sitting out. NC State, 5, 59.5 to East Carolina. East Carolina started to come on, a good quarterback, NC State. They lost our guy, McCall, early in the year, which is a shame. I wanted to see him play in this, but we'll see. I think East Car gives them a game. Can somebody explain this? Colorado and BYU were both in the Big 12. Why the fuck are they playing each other in this bowl game? Colorado 3 and 54 to BYU. Give me a fucking break. Now, who knows? I guarantee you Prime Jr. won't be playing. And Hunter won't be playing because they don't want to get hurt so they can get drafted. BYU, they're good little Mormons. They'll all play. For God and Christ, they'll be out there. BYU, I love as a dog in this game. If this is a regular game, I'd take BYU. But I don't know. Again, this is where, he doesn't want to get hurt. I guarantee you Hunter doesn't play, and I guarantee you Prime Jr. doesn't play. Army and Marshall, I guarantee you everybody plays here. Nobody sits out at the Army. Army is 9, 10.5, 12.5, 48.5 to Marshall. Love Marshall's quarterback. Love Army's quarterback. This should be points. And that's a big, if it's 12.5, Marshall's not, they just killed Lou Lafayette like 35-3. That's a big number to give Marshall. I know Army runs the ball a lot, but Marshall, good luck stopping them. They got a really good quarterback. Iowa and Missouri. Missouri 3.5, 40.5 to Iowa. Iowa's quarterback's out. McNamara. I like Missouri here if they all play. I don't know if Brady Cook would play. My favorite team who sits out, Michigan and Alabama. Alabama is 11.5, 43.5. If everybody plays, I'd be all over Michigan. They just did beat Ohio State, I believe. They have something to prove here, I believe. And 11.5 by the team that lost to Oklahoma because they couldn't handle that defense. Well, wait till they get a load of Michigan's defense. If this was a real game, I'd take Michigan 17.5. So fast your head would swim. But, Michigan, we got to get ready for the draft, even though none of them do anything in the pros. And the ironic thing with Tom Brady, he didn't even play much at Michigan. I remember watching him, and I never was impressed. And he had a few good games, but never what are we talking about? Oh, Egon? Yeah. Oh, of course he's right. He learns from me. Learns from the best. So Alabama, is Milrose going to – I mean, it's all – if everybody plays, I'd take Michigan. But I doubt everybody will play. And this is something that'll be late to pick. This is the problem with the bowl games. All of a sudden, it's not a real game. It's an exhibition, which it's never been an exhibition. And, we got to, gee golly, he might get hurt because it's football. So we want him to get drafted, make all the money. Wait a minute. He makes millions of dollars in the NIL. How much is Michigan paying this new quarterback, Hutchinson or whatever? How many millions are they paying him? Well, I would sign you're playing in the bowl games where we're not giving you your money. Louisville, Washington. Louisville, 5.5, 51.5 to Washington. Louisville, it's a good game. I think Louisville is a little bit better. We'll see again who's playing. South Carolina, 11.5, 47.5. I have a feeling South Carolina's going to play their guys because their quarterback's a freshman. In Illinois, Humpty Dumpty, and who knows what helmets they'll use. They did beat Michigan, 11, 47.5. I like South Carolina if they play. Baylor and LSU. Bobby's game. Baylor. LSU is 16.5 to Baylor. You got to love Baylor. You give Baylor these points. Thank you, God. Ole Miss and Duke. Ole Miss 12.5, 53.5. Normally I'd be all over Ole Miss, but I can't bet against my Duke team. There's too many points for Duke if they play. Ole Miss with the tough defense, Duke with the tough defense. North Texas, Texas State. I smell this one already. Texas State, 9.5, 67.5. Get your bet in before it hits 70. This will go to the moon. Minnesota, 4.5, 42.5 to Virginia Tech. Minnesota's the better team, but we'll see. Again, let's just say everybody's playing. We'll take Minnesota here. Buffalo and Liberty, everybody will be playing here. Liberty, 2.5, 51.5. Buffalo is a solid dog here. Jacksonville State 458 to Western Kentucky. Pretty even match here. Western Kentucky's probably a live dog. Army Tulane, they've already played. Oh, wait, Jacksonville State, Western Kentucky's already played. Okay, I'm getting into last weekend's games. So last game is Liberty and Buffalo, and that'll be the last game. Now let's go to the playoff matchups. All right, here we go. First round, Indiana, number 10 seed. They're the best number 10 seed I've ever seen. At Notre Dame, the 7 seed. They're the best 7 seed. This whole seeding is so fucked up. This is December 20th at 8. Then we've got SMU Penn State, which is Saturday at noon. SMU's an 11 seed, and Penn State's a. How did Penn State get to be a 6 seed? How is Ohio State an 8 seed and Penn State a 6 seed? Okay. Clemson, the 12 seed at number 5, Texas. Okay. Tennessee gets at Ohio State, the 9 seed against the 8 seed. Very strange seedings. Then we've got Boise State gets the winner of the SMU Penn State game. They're going to get killed, especially if it's Penn State with their defense, although SMU's got a pretty good defense. They'll stop Gentry, and that'll be it. And Boise doesn't have a defense. They're going to get killed in that game because they're no number 3 seed. These seedings are all fucked up. Number 4, Arizona State gets the winner of the Clemson-Texas game. Well, you assume it'll be Texas, and Texas will beat Arizona State. They're much better. What is with these rankings? How is Boise 3? What is Penn State doing in here? Arizona State, what is Clemson doing in here? And Texas. These are the worst pairings I've ever seen. Then Ohio and Oregon gets the winner of the Tennessee-Ohio State game. This sounds so rigged. Oh, well, let's make the Ohio State the 8th seed, and they'll play the 1 seed Oregon. It's exactly what it sounds like for TV. I'm not sure Ohio State can beat Tennessee. Couldn't beat Michigan. We'll see. Oregon, this game's in the Rose Bowl, so at least it's on the West Coast. They didn't drive them to the Gator Bowl or something. I agree with Tennessee and Ohio State being in this. The rankings are ridiculous. Georgia gets the winner of the Indiana Notre Dame. This is ridiculous. Georgia's going to play Indiana in the first round. I don't know about that. Georgia number 2, I agree with. I think Oregon's getting fucked as the number 1 seed. It should be like they play the worst team, right? When the worst team would be Clemson or Boise. College football semifinals, time to be determined. So there's an Orange Bowl and a Cotton Bowl. So how fair is it if Texas gets in and then they play in the Cotton Bowl? There's no Miami or Florida State or Florida. College football championship, January 20th. So this is insanity at its finest. These rankings are so fucking stupid. Oh, we got a score. Dallas 7, Cincinnati 6 in the first quarter. I can tell you I bet the over 43.5. Cincinnati's back at the Dallas 20. There we go. Come on, boys. So what I came here for was next week's schedule. Okay, let's go. Thursday night, the stupid Thursday night game. Frisco is 2.5, 48.5 over the Rams. The way the Rams look now against this is Buffalo, but the Niners don't have a defense. This will be a very, but the Niners, but they killed the Bears, who without a coach, without a coordinator, and with Caleb. So that's really not an impressive win. The Rams beating Buffalo is impressive. I'd say the Rams got it going with Pukanuka and Cooper Kupp. So we'll get into that. Baltimore at the Giants. Baltimore 15, 43.5. There's no way you can bet Baltimore lane 15 in the NFL. So you must go to a total or be stupid enough to take the Giants with, I guess, Drew Lock, the quarterback. Or maybe Danny DeVito's back by now. I don't know. 43.5. Baltimore, no defense. The Giants, no offense. Maybe you go over because Lamar should have a big day here after crapping his pants in the last game to Philly. The Jets actually favored over a team, 3.5 over Jacksonville, 40.5. Lawrence is out, so that leaves you with whatchamacallit, with Drew, what's his fucking name? Mac Jones. They actually beat Tennessee 10-6. What a game that must have been. Holy shit. That's how bad 2Z teams are. Sometimes they go over, and this time they went over, but you can't bet them. All right. So the Jets, 3.5 over Jacksonville on a winning streak now that they beat Tennessee. Probably the worst team in the league. Hard to take the Jets. Well, they played better in Miami. They get Jacksonville. I would have bet them as the dog, but they're a terrible team this year. Jacksonville's even worse. Washington, 7.5, 43 to New Orleans. Washington must win this game to keep the wild card going. New Orleans is just pathetic. I think Carr got hurt. I don't know how serious. That means they go to Hainer, I believe. Hey, Alex, how are you? Did you enjoy the weekend? Saturday, Sunday, 15-0. Is that did I make passing grades on that one? Anything I touched, I won. It was insane. Washington, New Orleans. So Washington must win. New Orleans will see the quarterback. Washington's a much better team here. Cincy, Tennessee, we got to wait to see what happens as long as everybody stays healthy with Cincinnati. Thank you, Alex. Rams and Army even. Oh, against Navy? Yeah, I think so. I like it a different way. I'll let you know what I like, but yeah, the Rams, yeah, that makes sense. Army should beat them, but again, it's that first rivalry, Army Navy, and if we go to battle, there won't be anybody to fight. They'll all be at the football game. So watch the Chinese invade us on that day because they know everybody's at the game. Cincinnati. So if Cincinnati, to me, if Cincinnati gets through all right and Chase and Burrow, then I like Cincinnati here to kill Tennessee because they don't have any offense. Levis sucks. Their defense sucks. Everybody thinks Tennessee's got a good defense. It's a 28 defense. Cincinnati scores 28 in the first half. Miami and Houston. Houston is 3-47 to Miami. Miami's coming on. Houston, I don't know. It seems like they only played really good against Detroit, and they sucked the rest of the time. They lost to Tennessee. Did they lose to Jacksonville and Indy? I mean, you want me to believe in Houston, then they got to beat the shit teams. And the way Miami's playing, I think Miami's a live dog here. Now, don't quote me. These aren't my picks. This is the first time I'm looking at it. Everybody's, oh, he likes it. You know, I don't know at this point. I got to check injuries, weather, and all my stats. Kansas City, 4-45.5 to Cleveland. And my first thought is 4? Are we serious? It's not 9 or 10. It's 4. Somebody get hurt. KC wins this game easy at 4. I get 2 points in KC. Mahomes in 2. Thank you. Thank you, God. Okay, here's an even stranger one. Depending on what happens tonight, Carolina's a 1.5 point favorite over Dallas. With Cooper Rush, it's not the same team as when Dak. It's much, much better, much more offense. You got to love Dallas as a dog in this game, provided they get healthy for tonight's game. But 1.5, 42.5. It's all Dallas there. Jesus Christ. Carolina can't beat anybody. Who did they beat? They beat like the other shit teams, right? What, New England or, I don't know who they beat some. I mean, they had to beat Jacksonville, I think. Just terrible team. Well, let's see. I gotta see who they beat. Carolina. They beat the Giants, New Orleans without Derek Carr, and I can't see the other game. It might have been the Bears or something. So again, they got 3 wins, but it's against the high school teams, the Giants and New Orleans, but against real teams. Now they played KC pretty good, and they played Tampa pretty good, and Philly. But I have the feeling that it's going to be more like Washington. They beat them 40-7. Denver beat them 28-14. No, the Bears beat them 36-10. Cincy beat them 34-24. Yeah, that's kind of more what I think. I think they beat Atlanta or New Orleans as their 3rd win, but you've got to be kidding. Don't tell me Bryce Young's any good. I won't buy it. So, yeah, I mean, they haven't. And if Cooper Rush is playing good, they'll cover the 1.5. This is too good to be true. I'm getting lines that I love. I know G asked me, how do I feel yesterday? Do I love the games? And I was so tired because I fasted that my mood wasn't there. And after watching the Buffalo Ram game going, I can't believe I didn't lock this one. I can't believe I didn't lock Pittsburgh. I can't believe I didn't lock Minnesota. That's how it was. But I had all those teams. I played Mini Pitt, the teaser. I played the Rams Buffalo over with, I think, San Diego under. How I didn't lock that game. But I said, okay. And she did a 4 or 5 team teaser and they all won. Everything won. Everything I touched turned to gold. The Rumpelstiltskin effect. So I made her some money. Titus is making money. How could he lose? I gave him 8 games and 7 won. He's got tonight's game. All right. Arizona 6.5, 46 to New England. Kyler Murray's very strange. When you figure him out, let me know. Too many interceptions. Seattle doesn't let him run. He can't beat them. New England, Drake May, okay. I'm tired of these quarterbacks who want to run. Right? I mean, they go back to pass and they immediately break the pocket and run. And what do we know? Quarterbacks who do that don't win. Josh Allen did that yesterday repeatedly. So you ran for 10 yards. The object's to throw the ball. You're the quarterback, not to run it. So I don't know. Maybe the Rams are playing man coverage, so he was able to get out there. But Kyler Murray's a runner. They didn't do shit. Jalen Hurts is a runner. They won because of Barkley. Russell Wilson doesn't run. I love how they're saying it. Mahomes doesn't run. He's not a running quarterback. He's a pocket quarterback. One of these idiots said, these mobile quarterbacks like Mahomes. Mahomes is not a mobile quarterback. He's in the pocket. He shifts around like Brady. And that's why KC wins. He doesn't run. He throws to Kelsey instead. He throws to the guys. He runs to Pacheco. He very rarely runs, only like in a playoff game. and he needs it's 3rd and 5, and he goes in, nobody's open. He sees he can make 10 yards. That's the only time Mahomes runs. He's not a mobile quarterback in the sense of Lamar, who never wins because he's, they bottle him up and he's fucked. He can't handle it. He's terribly inaccurate. So Kyler Murray, I don't know. New England, do I trust New England enough? I don't know. San Diego, Tampa. This is a very good playoff game. Both teams need it for the playoffs. San Diego 46.5 at home. Baker, he looks okay. I don't know. I probably play San Diego the way I always play San Diego. The cream here. Detroit 1.5, 53 to Buffalo. I know we're loading up on the over already. Detroit, very injured on defense. Buffalo, after what I watched yesterday, the Lions will be lucky to make him punt. I mean, Josh Allen, he sees an opening, he runs, he throws, secure, he's all over the place. These receivers are so wide open against the Rams. Detroit, yeah, they try to put a little more pressure on him, but 53. And then I didn't really see Buffalo with the defense. This should be a 70-point game. I mean, Detroit's going to go up and down the field. Buffalo's going to go up and down the field. Neither team will punt because neither team really has a defense. Detroit, if they had Hutchinson and their linebackers, maybe. But with Josh Allen, they're not going to stop them with these guys, these bums. So look for a very high-scoring game. If I was giving out free picks, I would give that as the free pick. But, of course, I can't give free picks because I would have lost my free pick yesterday, and that would have ruined my perfect 15-0 weekend. See, I go 15-0, right? And people go, how do you pick 75%? They don't believe it. Yet I go 100%. And then when I tried to do an ad on the radio and I said, I'm 24-4 my last 4 weeks, which is basically what I am in the pros. But I had a 10-0 week, an 11-1 week, a 9-2 week. Here's a 9-0 week, hopefully 10-0. What the fuck would you call it? I'm not lying. I go watch my classes. Look at my picks. They're on the site. I can't lie. People are buying them. I put it out there. You know what I pay. Alex knows every pick I picked. So they didn't believe me. Oh, nobody can do that. Oh, excuse me for being an alien because I can do that, and I do it a lot. I remember Ryan going, he picked 44%. I shut him the fuck up. What's this, my 5th or 6th week? I don't want to jinx myself. I'll talk after the game tonight, but a lot of high 90s and 100% weeks. All right. Denver and Indy. Denver only 4. Oh my God, I'm shocked. Look at these lines. Somebody's being kind to us. Denver only 444. Go Denver. Are you kidding me? Against Indy? And I'm really betting Bo Nix and the Denver defense, right? I'm not betting it without the defense. Oh, good game for you, Luke. Pitt and Philly. Philly is 5-43 to Pitt. Live dog there. Live under. Philly's a good defensive team. Not so much offense. Jalen Hurts, not very good. Russell Wilson is the better quarterback by a mile, and the defense is probably equal. So I think the dog is extremely live here. Seattle, Green Bay. Well, they could have made Seattle favorite, and then I would have really been on a happy day. Green Bay 347. Seattle playing some defense. They don't really play offense with DK Metcalf and Lockett. Why aren't they scoring a lot? The running back's out, Walker, but Charbonnet had a nice run. I don't know what to do here. I would have loved Seattle to be favorite, and then I could have taken Green Bay in a lock. See, this is where the lock comes. If I get the right dog, it's a lock. If I get the wrong dog, like here, I don't lock it, and then I got to figure out a total because I hate Green Bay unless I take Seattle in 9, which I don't trust the coach. Here we go. Sunday night, Minnesota 6.5, 44. Oh yeah, Minnesota is now 27-3 in a teaser. This just keeps getting better and better. Go Vikings. And is this really? This is what? This is, I guess, Sunday night, the 16th. No, Monday night. There's 2 Monday night games. Minnie in Chicago, and then Oakland and Atlanta. Atlanta's 4.5, 44 to Oakland. In Oakland, Oakland's terrible. O'Connell's out, so I don't know. I think what's the Riddler's the Oakland quarterback. Atlanta, you can hope Penix. If it's Penix, I'll lock Atlanta, but I doubt it would be. And I don't know what's going on with Dallas, Cincinnati. We're still 7-7. We had the ball at the 20. What happened? All right, we need more points, but we're early in the second quarter. So 14, we need 43. So let's get to 28 by half. That's how I do it. I look at, okay, I got points. So it's not 0-0 at half. I got 14. I'll score a lot just before halftime. So if I get 28, 30 points by half, then I know I should be good. But they always got to make you stress, and especially the over, because you can't get there. If you bet the under, you got to hold it. But if you bet the over, you need more points. I'm surprised they didn't score and they had the ball at the 20. I thought I was going to get more points, at least a field goal there. This is where the problem is, these fourth down shit. So maybe they got a 4th and 1, they didn't make it, and you've wasted time and you didn't score when you should have kicked the field goal. These coaches' heads totally up their ass. Dallas just turned it over inside the 5-yard line. Jesus fucking Christ. What's going on? All right, don't tell me these things. Anyway, so I don't want to hear it. I just want to go to the final and see 50 points, and I'm happy. But we'll see. Anyway, so that's next week's pros. Now, I didn't give one pick. You guys get picks out of it. Good for you, but I didn't give one pick there. I don't know. I haven't looked. I can't tell you any injuries, weather, or anything like that. Okay. All I know is that Minnesota's 27-3 in a teaser. That's all I know. That doesn't tell me it's a pick that I'm betting it, but that's all I know. All right. Let's go back to Doom, Bloom, and Goom.
I'm not saying everybody in China is rich, but I can say in good conscience, everybody in China is much better off today than at the time of Mao Zedong. Some, of course, horses have moved ahead other during the race to wealth and so forth. But that is the shortcoming of capitalism, or the incentive that capitalism offers. People work harder when there is an incentive. And so some people, they work very hard and they move ahead and they're lucky. They can have a lucky day. And so in sports, you always have good days and bad days. But in general, people prefer to do a job or to live in freedom than in oppression. And the socialist ideology and the communist ideology is an ideology of oppression and of jealousy, envy. They envy the rich people. Go to any socialist country, they destroy capital accumulation in order to distribute it to poor people. But the poor people, they don't know what to do with it. And most of the money gets not distributed, but hangs in the pockets of the government officials. This is the reality. And I've seen it, and I'm telling all the young people.
Yeah. We already know all that. But that's what I'm saying when I talk about capitalism. There's the incentive, there's the competition. In socialism, there is no incentive and no competition. The government controls the market. So you go out and you work if you find a job, and then where do you go spend it at? When I started, I was at Farmer Jackson. I was 16 as a stock boy, as a beggar and a stock boy. And I had no incentive at all. All I had to do was put pop and beer on the shelves. It didn't matter how fast I got. I could do it in 5 minutes. I wouldn't get rewarded for it. I wouldn't get a raise. I got a raise every 3 months or every 6 months. I get a raise for time, but I wouldn't get a raise for productivity. And I just laughed. I go, this is like socialism. This is the problem with the union. There is no incentive. So why should I work harder? Tell me the advantage of working harder. As long as I didn't steal or get into a fight, I wasn't going to get fired. So what would be the advantage of, there was no advantage of working harder or faster or putting more stock up. There was no advantage to that, which is insane. But that's what socialism is. Everybody's the same. You get rewarded for your longevity. Oh, I was there 5 years, so I worked this time and I made so much money because I was there so long. Oh yeah, I got a 30-cent increase. Oh yeah, I'm making $600-700 a week betting football games. My incentive on a 30-cent raise was not much. I remember I didn't want to work Sunday because I didn't want to miss the football games. And I had a boss. He said, "Well, you independently wealthy?" And I looked at him like, "What?" He says, "You don't need the money?" I go, "No, I make money betting football games. I make a lot more betting football than I do here." So no, I really don't. I don't need this job to feed myself. And I was living at home. I was 16, going to high school. So no, I didn't need the pay, especially during football season. And the best part was everybody would come to me for my picks. Who do you like here? Who do you like there? I loved it. And it was, I could have sold them, but it was my friends in produce and these others. And I'd give games out. And I loved it. Saturday, go to the phone. Who's winning? What a great time that was. All right.
And I want to introduce here, so, markets move to different rhythm. So you can have, say, a market that is depressed, say wheat, corn, soybean, and a market that is in a euphoric stage, say coffee at the moment, is up 70% this year, or Bitcoins. Anyway, the fact is, at the present time, the money of the world that is being printed to finance deficits that the governments have, the fiscal deficits, most of this liquidity is flowing into the US stock market and dollar assets, mostly into a limited group of stocks, the Magnificent Seven. The whole world is gambling on NVIDIA and NVIDIA options and so forth. By definition, if all the money of the world flows, say, into one sector here, by definition, other sectors are depressed. And so I look at the world like this. The US has the highest valuation ever in terms, relatively speaking, and absolutely thinking. Sentiment by investors believe that stocks will be higher in a year's time is at the highest ever. And individual investors are piling into stocks. Now, think about this carefully. They're piling into stocks, most of which they have no idea what they're buying. They're just buying them because they move. It's same like Bitcoins and so forth. And at the same time, a proven investor, I mean, I'm not a great fan of his, but at least he has demonstrated an impeccable long-term track record. Mr. Warren Buffett is pulling out of markets and increasing his cash position. And his cash position as a percent of assets, it is at the highest level ever.
It's approaching 400
Now you think
billion.
about it. Who do you believe? The thousands of mob investors that are rushing into some sort of tulip mania, or someone who is a seasoned investor, I would be on the side of the minority.
I'm not with Buffett. He's an idiot.
You said something there that kind of caught me. You know, the U.S. stock market, you know, cleanest shirt in the dirty hamper. And that's been the case, you know, for years now. That's been the case with the U.S. dollar for years. When you look at all these other currencies, the Eurozone, it's a mess. How long can the U.S. dollar stay elevated? It's still above 106. When you look at some of these bull markets in gold and commodities, I mean, the U.S. dollar was in a downtrend. It's been very strong, you know, for the last 5, 7, 8 years.
Yes, but you know, it's been strong against other currencies, but not against an honest currency like gold, silver, and platinum. Okay, platinum is a special case.
Not a
gold
currency.
has appreciated against the dollar essentially since 1971. In 71, we were at $35 an ounce, and now you need 2,650 or so dollars to buy an ounce. We have this downtrend in the purchasing power of money, and people should not kid themselves. The purchasing power of money has gone down much more than the fraudulent Bureau of Labor Statistic compiles. The cost of living of ordinary people has gone up much more than what they show that inflation is. Same in Europe, by the way. Same in Switzerland. In Switzerland, they claim we have no inflation. BS. We have inflation. Everything is so... Everybody who goes to Switzerland says it's very expensive. Yes, it is very expensive.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm thinking more back to, I mean, and you're absolutely right, that long-term trend is undeniable. But, you know, in the 2010, 2011, you know, gold's previous, when it hit that high just above 1900, you saw the US dollar index fall to the low 70s. And, you know, amidst kind of the first big money printing following the great financial crisis, do you see the dollar rolling over in that respect, where it breaks 100, breaks 90, you know, gets back into the 80s? Do you see an environment that could perpetuate that in the coming years? I think that's what will supercharge gold and some of these other assets, right? That yes, they've been grinding higher, but in terms of really breaking out, I think the dollar needs to roll over in a meaningful way.
That's a stupid question, because it's the derivatives that control the price of gold and silver, not the market, not because the dollar's high or low or anything. The guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and let's hear what this idiot has to respond.
I'm ultra bearish about the dollar. You understand? But I'm an investor at the same time. So most of my cash is actually in dollars. And I want to explain to you and your viewers a funny fact. Please. Some of my portfolios I value in dollars. Some of my portfolios I value in euros, and some in Swiss francs. Now, you would think when the dollar goes down that it is good for my portfolios because it's value in euros. No, my portfolios appreciate when the dollar strengthens because I have holdings in dollars. I value different portfolios differently, so I can always sleep happily. If one portfolio is likely to appreciate somewhat.
If one's up, if one's down, the other's up, and vice versa.
But in general, when I look at the price level in the US and the price level elsewhere, the US is grossly overvalued. Grossly.
Yeah.
But you are right. You know, the dollar, if someone said to me, Mark, you have a choice, you can keep all your money in Thai baht. I live in Thailand, in the north, in the Golden Triangle. You must keep all your money either in Thai baht or US dollars. Where?
Easy choice.
Both are undesirable.
Oh, both choices are so bad?
I would say if the choice was, you have to keep it all in dollars, gold, or in Thai baht, I would choose gold.
Of course. Yeah, for sure.
I just had an American here. He has been a few years to jail, but he's a very nice person. Everybody who's in jail is innocent. Anyway, it's a question, whether you keep your assets.
Well, you have to keep.
We are at turning points because at this stage, if you print money you can probably maintain consumption at a certain level, but the price level will go up if you increase the quantity of.
Oh, he wouldn't. I got to ask you about Bitcoin. Have you ever spent 2 or 3 hours a week looking at it? Have you ever done a unbiased look at the digital currency, Bitcoin?
Yes, I mean, I'm very interested in digital currency and so forth, but it takes a long time to explain. But yeah. I hold physical gold, silver, and platinum for one reason. Some is in a deposit box, and some is here in my home. Now, my home is very large, so I won't show you exactly where it is.
Please don't.
I get the visit of hundreds of Americans and viewers into my home looking for it. But the point is this: if in an emergency, let's say, the reason I hold gold is I don't believe in central banks. I don't trust them. And 2, for emergencies. Now, have you ever been in an emergency? I had the floods, so I know what happens. You have no
telephone. A few weeks ago.
You have no light. You have no water. Nothing. But you need to get some food. So how do you get the food if nothing works? You can't use your credit card. You can't use anything electronic. You need hard cash. And hard cash are small gold coins, among others. I mean, the Van Gogh painting, I agree, is an unusual asset, and it has a great value because there are only like 50 Van Goghs in the world and so on. But you and I, we travel to the jungle, and you have a Van Gogh under your arm, and I travel with a Rembrandt, and we come to a tribe in the jungle, and they look at this, they laugh about it, and they say, who on earth is so stupid to buy something like this? But you and I travel with 3 gold coins into the jungle. They bite it and say, oh, very good.
Yeah, we'll give you some food. You can stay with us for a few nights.
You can stay with our women.
That's wild, man. So Bitcoin doesn't interest you because of its electronic nature. It can be shut off in a crisis with no electricity.
In my opinion, it's like paper money. It's built on belief.
Yeah.
I'm a non-believer. I believe essentially that precious metals have a proven track record of having some value. Now, I'm not saying that the value doesn't fluctuate. It does fluctuate. But as a protection during times of upheaval, they have a proven track record.
Yeah, they definitely do. To your point, if enough people believe in something, it has, it becomes real, right? It has its function. It has its purpose. I mean,
yes, this is a philosophical view. If enough people believe in something, it is real. But in my book, the illusion can last a long time, but it doesn't become real. Or what is perceived to be right is not necessarily right under any condition. But as long as it's perceived to be right, it may become law.
This is what I mean. It becomes law. It becomes the standard. If enough people are doing it, it's like the U.S. I mean, the U.S. dollar is different in a way, but there's some coercion there. You're forced to pay taxes and things like that. You have to do it. So do you ultimately think that either another cryptocurrency will emerge, or that, this is almost like a tulip mania, or do you think, Bitcoin will just kind of establish it?
We are globally in an incredible asset bubble. Now, some asset bubbles have deflated, like China and Hong Kong, but most of the world is still in a colossal asset bubble. Mm-hmm. In '89, my view was that the Japanese market would collapse, because at that time, the Japanese market was 50% of the world's stock market capitalization. Mm-hmm. My view was it would collapse and bring down other markets, but that was wrong. I was wrong about this. The Japanese market went down and other markets went up. In 1980, after the oil price peaked out, oil stocks went down, brought down everything. Also, the NASDAQ in 2000 went down, brought down everything, but not for long. The basic stocks, the gold shares and so forth, they bottomed out and went up. But I'm saying, I think in the world, the US could peak out, slide, go down for years and years. Maybe not in nominal terms, but in real terms, like the Dow in 1982 was below 800. It had been above 800 in 1964. So the market moved sideways, but in real terms, inflation adjusted, it was down 70%. So that is my view, that other markets will outperform the US and other assets will outperform financial assets. I think it's likely that other assets will do much better than financial assets, that's my view.
So financial assets are stocks and Bitcoin. So the other assets are gold and silver and things like that. All right, it's enough of this guy. All right, so that is what's going on. That's why I want inflation, because people are not explaining it properly. They think there's wage inflation. This guy thinks there's wage and price inflation. I had to shut him off. That's just ridiculous. It's just not so. Anyway, so that's it. I don't normally watch the game. I just kind of check in at about 11:30, and just like yesterday, I didn't watch it because it was on, but I didn't watch it. I'd watched the Ram game, and I just, before I went to bed, look, 1917, it's an under. I can't handle the stress, especially on totals. I just assume, look at the end of the game, it either won or it didn't win, and that's all you can do. So that's basically how because it's so hard to watch an over. You need points, and you don't get there in the beginning, right? I can't, 7-7, 14-14 is 28. I still need 43. So you're still waiting on scoring. So I like to just see, yep, they made it over, in this case, 40. They got the 44, and that's good. Either won or lost. But I don't even get ESPN, so I don't. The Monday night games I can't even watch. I can turn it on YouTube and watch the highlights after, and just hope to see a lot of touchdowns by Chase and Burrow. But that's how there's nothing I can do now. It's either they score a lot, as they should, or they don't score a lot. And you can only analyze the game. Is it a good pick? Yes. 15-0 is 15 pretty good picks, and I made the pick in the middle of all this. So I had to bet it early with Detroit. So I had Detroit over with Cincinnati over. And I would have locked that, but Detroit on a Thursday night, I hate locking games once in a blue moon. So I didn't lock that over. And then so I put it with Arizona State with Cincinnati over. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully all good, and we'll check in later. Anyway, that's about it. I got to dig into the college football playoffs. I will put bowls and playoffs together. That'll be $100 because you're getting like 4 weeks, right? So it'll be the college bowls and the playoffs all the way through the championship game. So that'll be a set price of $100. I can do classes on that, but it won't be $25 because it's really 3 or 4 classes. And unless I do one a week and just give you the weeks, but we can do that. But that's what I'll be. And the pros will stay $75 a week. And you can certainly buy the weeks, but I know Todd, he's bought the bowls every year for a long time. So that'll come out. That'll be $100. I got to have my IT guy change it because we just go into the college and we change it to bowls and playoffs, and then through the championship game, and it's we change the price on it. So it's a simple little change. Anyway, that's about it. So I'm tired. Week's kind of you got work. I got this week and then next week, and then we get to the holidays. So I can see being a little busy this week. Probably, not doing a lot. I'm going to try to get paid. I'm kind of feeling unfair because I'm working contract, but I really am supposed to get hired. So when it comes to these holidays, I'm really getting screwed because I should be an employee, getting the full week of Christmas, getting Thanksgiving and the day after off, and getting paid for them. And I didn't get paid for those. And then I'm, why should I lose a whole week's pay because of Christmas? So I'm going to see if I can at least get Christmas Eve and Christmas and New Year's Eve and New Year's paid for. And then that would be fair to me. Not the other days, but those days. Then I can at least get a decent check for both those weeks instead of a one-day check or something. So I got to try and see what I can do with that. Because really, I'm an employee. I look at myself as an employee, but I got to do a contract time card. So, it's okay, but I'm happy I'm working. I can buy more gold now. So Thursday I'll get paid. Friday I'll be buying 1 or 2 ounces of gold, and at least an ounce and a quarter is what my plan is. If they have quarter ounces, they usually have ounces. People bring them in, and so they have that. The price is staying low for me. As long as they want to use the paper derivative to price the physical, I'm all for it. Again, I say I dance out of there. I sing and dance. Just call me Rumpelstiltskin. All right. Well, good luck. www.teaserking.com. Let's get this over in. Let's 43 is 24-20. We got a winner. And with Joe Burrow, I'm not too worried about getting some points. So anyway, have a good night, everybody. www.teaserking.com. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And we will well, we've done the bowls and the playoffs. So we'll get more into that. I need time to research it. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.